Let's see how to use file objects. A file object is a file that you can edit and transform without altering the original image. You can use them to reduce file size or to maintain uniformity in your artworks. And it's also handy because when you change the original file, those changes will appear wherever the file is linked. We'll see more about these usages later on this tutorial. There are two ways to create file objects: import an image file and convert layers within the canvas. Method 1. Importing an image file. Go to File, Import, Create File Object. The file you select will be uploaded as a file object. Several types of files, including layered ones like clip format, can be imported as a file object. Importing an image as a file object is great for keeping uniformity in your projects. Let's say I have a group of characters who share the same tattoo. Whenever I have a character from this group, I can import the tattoo file and add it to them, keeping uniformity. When you import the file, this dialog will appear. It explains that changes in the reference file will affect the file object. Tap OK, and the image will be imported as a file object. Notice that if you delete or move the original file, it will break the link on any artworks where you've placed it. You can see it by the X next to the thumbnail and link icon. If that happens, don't worry, you can fix it by navigating to Layer, File Object, Change File of File Object, and selecting the file. Notice the X will disappear from the thumbnail link icon. Method 2. Converting layers within the canvas. You can also convert one or several layers into a file object. That's great for simplifying and reducing the size of your artwork. To do this, simply select the layers and go to Layer, File Object, Convert Layer to File Object. The following dialog will appear. First, you can select the area that will be converted. It can be the drawing area or the entire canvas area. If you have a selection, you can also choose to convert only the selection area. Below, there is a Copy Paper Settings. This setting allows you to choose whether or not to make the paper color of the layer visible. Copy Crop Marks Inner Border Settings is about including these settings when they are a part of your canvas. That way, your file object will include crop marks and inner borders. I recommend you keep original layer by leaving this setting on. That way, you won't risk losing your original files, which is a non-destructive way to work. Now that you know how to create a file object, let's see how to edit it so it can fit your images. If you notice you need to change the source of the file object, that's easy to solve in Clip Studio Paint. First, open the source file. Go to Layer, File Object, Open File of File Object, and the original source file will open. Then, you can change whatever you want, and when you save the file, these changes will show up wherever that file object is included. I can change the tattoo to a dark pink in the source file, and it will appear where that file is linked. If it doesn't update automatically, just go to Layer, File Object, Update File Object, and it will appear. You can also click on Update All File Objects, and all file objects in your artwork will be updated. If you change your mind and decide to use another source file, go to Layer, File Object, Change File of File Object. Then, just select the new file, and it will be on your artwork. If you want to transform or distort a file object, that's easy to do. Use the Object tool to manipulate the handles to adjust it to the desired position. To easily access the Object tool, you can press Ctrl or Command-T if you have a keyboard attached. If you don't have a keyboard with you, use the Edge keyboard to customize shortcuts. Let's see how to do that. The Edge keyboard appears on the left or right side of your screen, and it includes modifier keys such as Ctrl and Shift. To change the Edge keyboard location from left to right, simply drag its icon to the opposite side of the screen. If the Edge keyboard icon is not visible on your screen, click on the top left Clip Studio icon, then select Preferences, Interface. Under Edge keyboard, View, select Button to show it or Hide to hide it. When you're using the Edge keyboard, you can assign shortcuts by combining its modifier keys. Click the Clip Studio icon, Shortcut Settings. Find the tool, in this case the Object tool, and assign it a combination of modifier keys. For example, we can set T1 for the Object tool. When operating a file object, you can also use the Tool Settings palette for more detailed and precise changes. You can flip horizontally and vertically, change the scale ratio, rotate the angle precisely, and even tile it. And what's best? Because this file object has a source file that won't be altered, these changes will not affect its quality. You can change back and forth as much as you want, and it will remain impeccable. If you want to change back to the original proportions and angle, go to Tool Settings, Reset Transformation, and it will go back to its original state.